Wagwan people, you don't know if you're a Jamaican. I will soon get this thing started. But please, as you're coming through, make sure you hit the like button. Hit the like button, please. I can't stress it enough, hit the like button. And if you don't like me, God was good enough to empower the person who made YouTube to make the dislike button. So make sure you hit that dislike button. And I'll be right with you guys in a couple minutes. I have to start all over again. You know, I was wondering why that thing wasn't moving. Xyrax, you're an angel, you know. Because I'm here talking away, thinking that I'm getting through all of this thing, right? God bless your soul, girlfriend. I've been here for 20 minutes. And it's just all silence with me, just, maybe some ladies think that my ugly face is kind of cute, so they'll stick around and watch my lips move. I don't know. But big up to everybody, especially big up and enough respect and thanks to Lady Zyrax, the lovely lady, from Chinatown. I don't know if she's Chinese, but Chinese are hot. So she's Chinese for now. Thank you very much. There you go. Is my mic good? I sounding all nice and everything? I hope it good. I see the thing moving, so everybody big up on yourself. Please like the video. Please like the video. Go and check out my other content. I've been trying to do, some different shit. I notice people doing a lot of things. They're looking at people. I don't want to do that shit. I want to do what I like. I want to be me. And this is the type of stuff that I like. I like stuff that make you think. Big up to Zyrax again. Thank you. I appreciate you. Hey, James Brown said something. James Brown said it's a man's world, but it would be absolutely nothing without a woman. And I believe him 110%. Thank you again, Zyrax. Tonight, I want to talk about mythology, right? And the reason for this conversation is basically Ali helped trigger it. Big up to Ilkan Ali. Good conversation, good fun time. And gaslight a little bit, but it is what it is. That's how he chooses to run his shift. But I can appreciate the conversations over there, right? Thank you very much, Zyrax. It's good to see you in my chat too. I appreciate you being here. You have absolutely no idea. But the reason I decided to do this video is because I had a problem with how people use religion, right? I will listen to somebody telling a story about, let's say somebody kidnap a princess from a village and bring her over to yonder, too far away. You got me there. You have me locked into the story. But then now you insert into the story and God put in a spirit of vengeance into these two men and they went to the place and took the girl back. As soon as you insert God into the story, right? Why is it that it sounds like a fairy tale? Why is it that the man them couldn't see that? And by the vigor placed within them, they got up and took it upon themselves to go. I don't know. But to me and my logical thinking, it sounds like fairy tale a lot of the time. Zin, I'm not saying I definitely know, but I think. I think a lot. And I'm open to the possibility that I'm wrong. I'm open to the possibility that somebody can just, slap the water with a stick and the water just go like that. I don't know. I'm not open to the possibility that a group of people promise something and then them have to kill off all of the people them that is there now to capture it for themselves. I don't believe in that bullshit. That to me is fuckery. But then now, I'm questioning this thing, right? And I say, where could I go? What can I look into to get some insight? Because Christianity is a thing, where they only promote you to read one book. In a world with so much, it's like just endless literature. You could embark from now till the end of your days and you will never read every piece of literature on the face of this planet alone. Even not fuck the planet, even in your own country, if you start in America, you will never read everything. There are so many books and so many different things, but these people just choose to stay with this one thing. Nothing to validate it, right? They don't need no justification or anything that happened in it. You just take it. Somebody write it and present it to you and give it to you and say, here. And it's not even the person that write it and give it to you, that was long ago that gone. That person not in the equation no more. Is your parents and society and people pushing this thing onto you. You don't know what it is. You just learn that it is a way of life. Which led me to research other ways of life and other cultures and other people that have similar things, similar constructs, but it's something more rational, something more logical, something that you can look at it and say, well, that kind of makes sense. And it led me to mythology, right? Not only did it lead me to mythology, but it led me to want to talk about this person, a form of control. I don't do religion, lol. Me neither, but this is the funny thing, those Iraqs. I believe in a creator. I believe, right? And I have to use the word belief. And I use it faithfully. Because there is something there that I can't explain, that I experience already. And I can't keep that experience to myself, but I experience it already. Not in any earth shattering way, but in the most beautiful and subtle ways. And I was by myself on a spiritual journey, right? I can't explain it. That's why I don't even want to try. And I'd rather keep it to myself because it's personal. But that never have nothing to do with no kind of religion. And if I come down and tell that to a pastor, the pastor gonna tell me about things where him gonna try make it make sense. You know what I'm saying? But it all gonna come back from that one book. Mythology now. Before I get into mythology, I want to get into Achilles. That is the statue, right? Achilles, as we all know, due to the effects of Hellenization. If you don't know what that word means, Hellenization, go look it up. It is interesting information. But Achilles is someone who is well known. Your spiritual energy is very important. It's good to educate yourself on that too. This person is well known, so much so to the point that a body part is named after him. Can you imagine? You come out of your mother womb and you have all these names of body parts, and one specific part is named after this person. Some men are remembered for what they built, some for what they taught, and some are remembered for how they burned. Achilles wasn't just a warrior, he was a symbol of power, of pride, and of rage, and of what happens when greatness has no balance. Achilles was born between two worlds. His mother, Thetis, a goddess of the sea, his father, Peleus, a mortal king. From the beginning, he was never meant to be ordinary. I feel that way. I feel that way sometimes. Legend says his mother tried to dip him to make him immortal, dipping him into the river Styx by holding him by his heel. Mm. And that became the only place he could be broken. Achilles' heel. If you watch the movie Try, you will see how him get shot in him heel by like, well, not necessarily in his heel, in the tendon of his heel, Achilles tendon. That's what it is. It's not really a Achilles heel. I don't know if it's Achilles heel. I know of the Achilles tendon. I don't necessarily know about the heel. But that became the myth now, right? Because his mother held him right there to dip him in the river Styx because she herself, as a god, could not submerge her fingers into the river Styx. She had to just dip him in there. Just, oh, I can't get my nails in there because it's gonna melt off the nail polish. So he's got to be weak in the ankles, and it just is what it is, you know. But we're not gonna stop there for the. It is what it is. So he's weak in the ankles because his mother didn't want to ruin her nails. Okay, but raw power ain't enough. Even someone like Achilles needed guidance. He was trained by Chiron. Now this is where it gets interesting, right? This is Chiron. And this vase right here, vase. What you say, Zyrax? Vase. And this vase right here. This half horse. You can see like the horse legs right there. And he got man legs in the front too. But we know a traditional centaur is like, from what we see on TV, right? They have like a full horse body and then a human top. So this was one of the trainers, one of the teachers of Achilles. Now, where am I? A centaur, known not for violence, but for wisdom. Chiron didn't just teach him how to fight, he taught him discipline, medicine, and music. Can you imagine? Achilles, known for killing all these people, was taught in medicine and music and taught him discipline. Well, discipline comes with being a warrior, for sure. Sagittarius is a centaur. Hey, I know my mind is so funny, it moves at the speed of light because, as you said, that Sagittarius is a centaur. It kind of made me want to go look into astrology next and pick that apart and see how. Because if you notice, these astrological what you call them, this like the star signs like Sagittarius and them things, is not like a bunch of stars in the actual shape of a horseman, right? These are just constellations that they just give shapes. Say, oh, that look like a crab. But when you look at it, when they show you, oh, that's Cancer right there, and you're looking at it like, how the fuck you get a crab from that? You know what I mean? Yeah, but yeah, he taught him how to be more than a weapon. Mm. That is the one thing. I think men nowadays are so stuck in bullshit that they don't see the need to even want to encourage themselves to do some of these things. I will leave them alone. But here's where it gets real. Achilles didn't leave behind teachings and books. He taught through how he lived. And how he lived was intense. He believed in honor, but his pride was as strong as his skill. During the Trojan War, he was the Greeks' greatest weapon, untouchable in battle, feared by everyone who stood across from him. But when his honor was challenged, when Agamemnon disrespected him, he didn't fight, he withdrew. And that decision changed everything. Because you see, this is the thing now, when you realize that you the shit, right? And other people depending on you, and you humble with it, and them same motherfuckers wanna be like, yo, fuck you, hurry up and do my shit. You can be like, alright, bitch, I'm gonna just sit back. And they went on to war and they got fucking shit kicked. And he stood there and he was like, yeah, alright, bitches. And they came back and begged him to come back. And he did. Because when Achilles stepped away, the Greeks started losing. People died. Not because he couldn't fight, but because he chose not to. And it wasn't until his closest companion, Patroclus, Batman, Batman, fire! Yo, bomba clock Greek boy, And you know the funny thing? You know that when you know for a fact what the Greeks were kinda about is when hey Xyrax, the sexual position named Greek, right? Why it have a name Greek? This thing was so popular in them culture. Batty boy. This thing was so popular in them culture that them have a sexual position name after them. Come on, man. Degeneracy. Fire. Lightning. Alright, we'll get back to Patroclus. Mr. Patroclus. And it wasn't until his closest companion, Patroclus, was killed that the rage came back. Man, them killing Batman friend. Man get vex. And when Achilles returned, he wasn't fighting for honor anymore. He was fighting for revenge. Cause them take away him body. No more body from Patroclus for Achilles. Body boy. Damn. I you know the fuck up thing, right? In the movie with Brad Pitt, Xyrax in the movie with Brad Pitt, Patroclus was him nephew or something like that. It wasn't a Batman thing. Suppose Brad Pitt look on the producer and say, yo, Brad Pitt don't do Batman role. So come again. They had to rewrite that shit to make Achilles straight. Man was crooked as fuck. Like, huh? Yeah. But yeah. Mm. Revenge. He hunted down Hector. Hector was the prince that supposedly killed this man in battle because so I think the story got the myth correct where it said that Patroclus must have put on him armor, run in, and then that made Achilles warriors think that oh it's Achilles is fighting again. Let's go. We're ready to kill again. And everybody, vigored up and thing. And Hector thought it was Achilles coming, and Hector's like, yes, I get to fight this motherfucker. Kill the guy and then figured out that it's not him. Right? He hunted down Hector, defeated him, and then dragged his body behind his chariot to show that, yeah, I'm pissed off. I don't even want to. I don't even want to run no more Batman joke. Too. This thing is just not funny, yo. Victory, yeah, but at what cost? Now here's the deepest layer. Achilles wasn't just a story; he was a reflection. In ancient Greek society, honor meant everything. Not fucking today. Honor is not worth 2 fucking pennies that the government discontinued. I tell you what, I'ma maintain mine. In ancient Greek society, honor meant everything. Glory in battle wasn't how you become immortal, not in body, but in memory. And that idea is captured perfectly in the Iliad. It's a book, check it out, interesting, where Achilles is given a choice, a long, quiet life or a short life filled with eternal glory. And he chose glory. Because back then, to be forgotten was worse than death. But Achilles' story ain't just about strength, it's about imbalance. He had skill without restraint, emotion without control, power without peace. And in the end, that's what made him human. As does it make us all. No one is perfect. And the small imperfections kind of what make you you at the end of the day. So when you hear the name Achilles, don't just think about the warrior. Think about the man who had everything but couldn't master himself. And ask yourself, is greatness still greatness if it destroys everything around it? Hey. Yeah, man. Hey, you don't know, your favorite Jamaican 187 up in the building. Please like the video, hit the share button, tell a friend to tell a friend so we can all be friends and come chill out on the ends. You don't know, right? Cause we don't just tell stories, we break them down. This is the thing now. We're getting into the nitty gritty of this thing. Now, here's the part, right? That might make some people uncomfortable. Think about Troy. Think about Brad Pitt and that guy that played the Hulk one time, who played Hector, I don't know his fucking name. But Brad Pitt. Think about Brad Pitt and Troy, right? Achilles never actually existed. You hear that, Xyrax? Anybody who watching this, Achilles was not an actual person. He never really existed. He wasn't a man you could meet. He wasn't a warrior buried somewhere with a grave you can visit. He was a story, a creation passed down through generations, shaped by poets like Homer and preserved in works like the Iliad. Check it out. Good read. But to the Greeks, these stories weren't just entertainment. They were explanations. They were ways to understand the world. Human nature, war, love, ego, fate. They didn't always look at their myths as literal truth, but as meaningful truth. Lessons wrapped in story, symbols of reality, not replacements for it. And that's where things get interesting. Because if you step back and really look at it, what's the difference between Greek mythology and modern religion? Both tell stories, both have powerful figures, both try to explain existence, morality, and purpose. But somewhere along the way people engage with the stories changed. Greek myths, most people today hear them and say, that's mythology, that's symbolic, that's not literal. But when it comes to the Bible, people don't always approach it the same way. As soon as God enters the conversation, critical thinking sometimes takes a back seat. And instead of asking, what does this mean? They ask, do I believe this or not? But maybe that's what's wrong with the question. Because whether it's Achilles or any other story tied to faith, right? The real value might not be in taking it as pure supernatural fact, but in understanding what it's trying to say about us, about human nature, about power, and about consequences. Because once you strip away the labels, a story is still a story. And the truth inside it only matters if you're willing to actually think about it. Otherwise, it's just a fairy tale. You decided not to question. And it's sad that people take that stance in life nowadays. Instead of thinking critically, you just take this thing and run with it. You don't know where the fuck you're running to, you're just running. And yet there's fear mongering. You know, oh, if you don't believe in God, you're gonna go to hell. Who the fuck told you that? Who are you to tell me where I'm gonna go? You don't know. Dead men tell no tales. Ain't no man been to the grave and come back and say, yo, you gonna see this light? Right? There's gonna be a tunnel, there's gonna be a light there, and you just walk to the light. If you don't walk to the light, there's gonna be some shadows, and they gonna grab your ass. You better run to that light. How the fuck you know there's a light? How I know that when you passed out into a coma and the doctor said you were dead for X and Y minutes because your heart stopped beating, that when you come back, everything you tell me is gonna be what happened when you actually die. How do I know that? Because basically you have blood deprivation to your brain. It might have induced some kind of hallucination in your subconscious. I don't fucking know. But you gonna come back and tell me that you seen some light and that's what's waiting for us and this and that and I'm supposed to take that? No, brethren. I don't know. I don't know. If I was Tarzan in the jungle, I would not have none of that shit. You know the funny thing about a basic concepts like even good and evil? If you're still there, Xyrax, yes. If you're talking about made up as in the mythology, mythology is made up. It's stories. Hercules, right? Zeus, Hera. These are things people used at the time to explain certain phenomena they didn't understand. And maybe Zeus was someone who was maybe he figured out what lightning was and nobody was listening to his ass. And he was the only one who knew the secret, so he just kept it to himself. And then it came to pass that people witnessed him manipulating the element and then like, oh shit, he's Zeus. Hmm. I can't just run with things, right? If I watch an Anton video and I agree with some of the things that he says, and we have a conversation about it, and I say that I agree with some of the things that he says, that don't automatically make me a bag chaser. I agree with the information that he was putting out. I agreed with the message. The messenger is neither here nor fucking there to me. However, if the message is coming from the messenger and the message is consistent, I can say I support that person in what they're doing. Am I a part of their cult? Absolutely not. Just like religion, how I can say I'm not a religious person, I'm not a cult type of person. Only type of culture I want to be a part of, right? And I don't necessarily even want to be a part of it, I just want to visit. Culture like music, um, other diverse cultures, people cultures, yeah. Being a part of the cult is not something that I ever think I would see myself doing. But yeah, people, hey, that is my take on mythology. If you guys have any questions or concerns, put it in the comments. I'll be happy to address any and absolutely everything that you have to throw in there and ask about this topic. But I think it's very interesting, and hopefully somebody watching this, it gets your gears turning in your head. We need to start be thinking more critically. We need to start approaching life from a more realistic and objective perspective. That's what I was gonna go talk about. Basic concepts like good and evil. Do you realize that basic concepts like good and evil are human constructs? I'm gonna do a video on it. But to just broach the conversation, the surface, right? Good and evil are human constructs, and they can support or destroy values of society as it has been made to be. Let me use that language. Now, for my village, let's say I have water up here, right? You don't have no water. You don't have no water further up more because the river cut in on an angle from you. And you decide that you want to cut the river from where it is to come to where you are. And in now doing so, you have moved the river from coming to me to going to you and then going somewhere else. Good for you who moved the river to where you are. It's no bad for me because now I got to figure out the water situation, right? I go up and I try to move what you put in place to get good water to your people and then leave me in my evil predicament. I don't see your actions as good because you're looking out for your people. I see your actions as evil because of your inconsideration to my people. You didn't consider how it was going to affect them. Maybe you didn't even care. Maybe the information just came on your desk and you just pushed it aside because it doesn't serve our purpose. Concept of good and evil is a human construct. If it is something against you or a movement that you are a part of or a society that you're a part of, it is evil. And we even find that nowadays that boundary is being stretched even further because there is no propaganda. Propaganda is there to tell you what is good and what is evil. It's a hell of a thing. But I'm gonna break it down in another video another time. Everybody big up on yourself. Thanks for coming through. Please again like the video. Share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend so we can all be friends and chill on the ends. Everybody big up on yourself. You don't know your favorite Jamaican. And Zyrax, thanks to you again. You saved the show, baby girl. Yeah, man, enough respect to you. And I might get rid of this one. I was recording it. I might just chop it up a little bit, take out the silent parts, and put it up back there for everybody to see. But everybody big up on yourself. I hope everybody having a good night. Hoping to get some nice sleep. Wake up tomorrow's Friday. You know, get up, go to work, enjoy your day. Don't be just fucking at work being like, I hate seeing people like that at work, man. When I'm at work, I sing. And if there's miserable people around me, that miserableness is like a vibration, you know. Short for vibe. Right? I can feel it. It's like a tuning fork. When people around me resonate. And instead of me being there quiet and just sucking it up and then affecting my mood, I will sing. And if I feel like the vibe is getting stronger than my singing, I sing louder. I can't be infected by that, man. But yeah, people, big up on yourself. Have a good night, and we'll see you again.